What is going on, guys? Joey Franzo here with Flex Training Systems. I know I'm wearing Adidas. Shout out to the Three Stripe gang, but we ain't get that Adidas sponsorship yet. Maybe one day. Adidas is, fun fact, the only really shoe that I can wear because they're, their NMDs, their EQTs. A lot of their shoes are very flexible in the front, and I have the world's widest feet. I can't really wear Nikes because they don't flex like that. But getting into the topic at hand today, what are we talking about? For whatever reason, recently people have been asking me, Joey, how heavy should I get before competition? So let's go through it. If you just want like a general percentage number and you don't really care about details, I would say anywhere between 4 to 7%. 5% seems to be a pretty solid area. So if you weigh 200 pounds and you compete in the 205 pound class, you can allow yourself to get up to 215-ish, 216, 217, something like that. You should be able to make that cut no problem if you do it right. If you don't lose any tissue, so meaning you're just dropping water and sodium and then putting that all back right before the competition. Hopefully getting a little bit of a super compensation effect with your bloating, and then you can kill all your numbers. It's a process that is not, it's not like, it takes time to really get used to it, and it's not the easiest thing in the world to do, but if you can get it down, it certainly helps. The reason why you would want to be bigger and heavier, and sometimes a cut might be worth it, is because weight moves weight. The more muscle you have on you, the more body fat even you have on you, the better your leverage is going to improve. Even if you have a guy who's 200 pounds and a guy who's 220 pounds with the same amount of muscle, let's say they're an exact clone of each other, and you gain 20 pounds and you didn't get any muscle, you're gonna lift more weight because you're again, weight moves weight. You're gonna improve your leverage by having more weight on your frame. Some things you might want to consider when you're gaining is if you really notice your deadlift is not moving, or it's going down, and it's going down so much to the point where your squat and your bench increasing due to the extra weight is not like a net win, if that makes sense. Then you might want to take a look at that. For me personally, when I got up to, oh my god, at the Arnold I was 255 pounds last year, almost exactly 1 year. What am I saying exactly? It's like 7.5 weeks out now, so a year from that, so 50, so like 49-ish. What am I saying? 40. It's like 45-ish weeks ago. I was 255. The Nationals in October were in January. I was 229. I'm back up to 235 now because I want to do good at this meet. So obviously I want to be heavier than 231. I don't want to just like chill there. Because for me mentally, this is something that people need to consider when they do one of these cuts. It doesn't bother me knowing that I need to cut. It's not going to affect me mentally. I'm prepared to do it. I've done it many, many times. I've had unbelievably difficult cuts. I know the mental strain that I'm going to have to go through, which is going to be not even a problem because I am not cutting enough to where I would die or suffer. Nobody's gonna die, right? I mean, we don't want that. You gotta be careful whenever I even am hesitant to ever have people sauna because you never know what can happen. Sometimes people don't communicate, and they might be in the sauna when they shouldn't be, risking their health. We never want to do that. It's never worth it for a meet to compromise your health just to do good at a meet, and which you're probably not gonna do if you have the sauna that much off anyway. So, I've gone through it. I know what I'm getting myself into. So, I have no problem cutting, even up to 10 pounds for this Arnold coming up. I've made the cut from 247 all the way down to 231. I think that was my 7 kilos-ish was my biggest one. When I say that, I know that a lot of you guys will be like, oh, I can do it too. If Joy does it, I can do it. And again, so and I'm not sure if I mentioned, but 5%. So 5% of your current body weight. So if you're, again, 205 pounds, around 217 is really pushing it. I would stay around 212, 215. You can get away with that, and you shouldn't really lose much. It might affect you on squat because it might take some time for your body to really absorb all those nutrients after you make weight, but it can be worth it to make a cut like that. If you are someone who mentally you just fall apart when you know that you're overweight, like you're not at your weight class and you know that you're gonna have to cut, then I would say don't do it. It really depends on the person. I think you can train yourself to understand what you're going to go through, and accept that you're going to make this cut, and make the cut and do well. But it definitely is, like, if you get it right on the first time, it's very rare, and I would be pretty surprised. But I have given people the protocol, and they just pull it off like perfectly, no issues, and you're good to go. But again, your mental capacity, what you can handle. You're already dealing with so many things coming into the competition, that it might be too much for you. It might push you over the edge. So sitting over your competition weight, 5%, I think, is a good place to sit. Again, you're going to increase your leverage. If you're in those smaller weight classes, you're probably not going to get heavy enough to where you're compromising your deadlift by being so big. Again, everybody's different. If you're someone who pulls sumo and you pull mixed and you have short arms and your thumb, so this little knuckle right here is getting stuck on your thighs, then that's something you have to consider. That's why conventional is probably just better. If you look at a lot of really, really big lifters, like physically heavy lifters, a lot of them pull conventional because you're not gonna have that friction. So you're gonna get away with being bigger. If you can keep your deadlift the same while you gain weight, and your squat and deadlift like skyrocket, it's totally worth it. For a lot of people, they think of their lifts like they all need to go up together, right? So all three of your lifts have to go up like evenly. That's not the case all the time. Some meets, it's a huge win on your total if you can increase two lifts, keep one the same, and boom, you get a total PR. You're moving forward, you're progressing. It's hard to tell people sometimes, hey, you should be happy with even just like keeping your expectations in check. So saying, hey, 5 to 10 kilos or 2 to 5 kilos this meet, you just competed 4 months ago, you're doing another meet quickly, you're not in a caloric surplus, you need to chill out. If you're on a caloric surplus, let's go up a little bit. We can up the expectations a little bit, but sitting over your weight class is, in most cases, especially if like literally most of you guys are going to be under 120 kilos, watching this, it is beneficial. If you're 265 pounds or 200, if you're competing as a 120, for example, you can get up to, what is that? 265%, 12. You can get up to like 280-ish, and you should be fine. I've made the cut as a 105, 7.5 kilos. But, if you can, again, before we wrap this up, if you're someone who thinks they can handle that cut, go ahead, gain that weight. You're going to kill training. Your recovery is just going to be on another level. You're not going to get hurt. For example, I slept funny. I don't know what's going on with my collarbone, and I was like dying benching yesterday. Probably shouldn't have benched through it. Today I'm supposed to deadlift. I'm taking today off to let this kind of heal. But we've had people visiting for the LA Fit Expo, and I've been eating frickin' Pazookies. Shout out to BJ's. Every night for the last 2 nights, and those extra calories, I can really feel it helping. Like just everything, every little ache, every little pain. You sleep better. Like when you're in a caloric surplus, it is such ideal conditions. And to wrap this up, if you can put yourself in a position, so you have the whole year, right? Let's say your big competition is like somewhere here in October. So here's the year, here's October. If you can do what I did, and so I competed at nationals, I kept eating, you know, competed at the Arnold, and then I dieted over here, right? So I dieted for many months, and I got my weight down under 230, and now I have room to eat into the Arnold. It's such a better situation, and something I would like to, you know, pass on to you guys is just think long term and think, you know, okay, I want to have the best 2018 nationals. I want to have the best 2019, 2020, whatever. Do what you have to do to put yourself in a position to have that meet, to have that super meet. I know you guys have heard me say that before. And understand that, like, not every meet needs to be, you know, the best meet of your life in terms of, like, you know, like, prioritize the meets in the year that are the priority. And then use the other meets as experience to take a step forward, you know, to work on things here and there. But, you know, if you're going to put the pressure on any meet, make it be nationals or whatever meet is meaningful to you. And if that means, you know, dieting a little bit in the off season to put yourself in a position to eat up, then do that. And then also don't be afraid to move up. If you're having a hard time staying in the lower weight class and you're not going to be competitive either way, it does not matter like where you place, right? Like where you compete, then move up. For me, I was better moving into the 120s. I wanted to die and I hated being that heavy because I don't have the biggest frame in the world. But you know, I like just not having to think about cutting weight and you know, you're lifting like heavier weights than you've ever handled before. It's an awesome feeling. I hope you guys are able to take something away from this video. You guys have voiced your opinion and told me that you want to see me in videos more often. I hope you don't mind this little setup in my room. If you have any questions or future topics you would like me to cover or consider, go ahead and drop them down below. That being said, let me get a bulky boys in the comments below. #bulky boys, and I'll see you in the next one.